Should black people be even concerned about voting laws that require ID? Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show. This is just going to be a really short video. So the Department of Justice has declared or made it apparent that they will sue North Carolina for their voting law, which will require ID.
By restricting access and ease of voter participation, this new law would shrink rather than expand access to the franchise. And it is especially troubling that the law would significantly narrow the early voting window that enabled hundreds of thousands of North Carolinians, including a disproportionately large number of minority voters, to cast ballots during the last election cycle. Allowing limits on voting rights that disproportionately exclude minority voters would be inconsistent with our ideals as a nation, and it would not be in keeping with the proud tradition of democracy that North Carolina has built in recent years. Just months after North Carolina saw the highest overall turnout in sheer numbers in its history in November of 2012, and within days of the Supreme Court's Shelby County decision to strike down key provisions of the Voting Rights Act, the state legislature took extremely aggressive steps to curtail the voting rights of African Americans. This is an intentional step to break a system that was working, and it defies common sense.
They are challenging the law based on saying that it is discriminatory against African Americans and the elderly. I want to put everybody on notice that this is a complete lie. While there are reports that say that there is a disproportionate amount of people in the lower class who do not have IDs, so following the bouncing balls. So there are people in the lower class who do not have IDs, which in a lot of states is illegal all by itself, right? That you have to have at least an ID. I have not looked at the North Carolina version of the law, but some states have come out and said, well, we're going to just issue IDs for free. You come in and you, of course, prove who you are, and then we issue you ID for free, right? So, the contention is, if poor people have a disproportionate amount who do not have IDs, and black people are poor people, then we're going to say that any voting law that requires ID is discriminatory against black people, right? So, of course, we're talking about 1% of the population. Of the state population. We're not even talking about the general population. We're talking about the state population. So, of the black people in the state that do not have ID, now you're going to say, oh, no, there's a lot of more people, black people who don't have IDs. In most states, if you are a convicted felon of any kind, you do not have voting rights at all, which is unconstitutional. But there you have it. So we're not talking about those people. We can completely eliminate those people. So we're talking about literally like 1% of the black population, the homeless or the perpetually poor, right? And the elderly, we really don't. We're not talking about. We're not talking about the elderly. We're talking about that people are saying it's discriminatory. When they say discriminatory, normally they don't bring up the elderly. They bring up black people. I'm here to tell you that this has nothing to do with black people at all whatsoever. Get it out of your head, right? What it has to do with are illegal aliens. They want to allow illegal aliens to be able to vote in this country. By the very fact that you are an illegal alien, you have absolutely no constitutional right, regardless of what the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has said, which really should be taken out back and shot. Even my law professor, who now sits on it, who's in hot water anyway, right? Through some sort of scandal. Regardless of what the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals says, illegal aliens are not covered by the U.S. Constitution because it is about citizens of the United States. And that does not apply to illegal aliens. What the Democratic Party is trying to do, and they always target Republicans saying the Republicans are evil, they're trying to get illegal aliens the ability to vote and to vote often. And when I say vote often, I mean more than once. That is what's going on. Black people, do not let yourselves be drawn into this complete and utter lie. Who cares about 1% of the population, 1% of black people? We're not even talking about 1% of the population. We're talking about 1% of black people. We don't care about those people. You don't care about this. Be honest, you don't care about those people. Do you care about, do you walk around giving $20 bills out to homeless people? To black homeless people? No, you don't. You don't care about them anyway. So why care about them when you're talking about voting? You don't want them to vote. They might vote Republican or independent, right? So let's be honest. You don't care about 1% of the black population. So why should you care about 1% of the black population when it comes to voting? You should not. Because you don't care about them in any other aspect of your life. Let's be honest. You don't care about them, right? And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to call you out. I'm not trying to say that you're uncaring. It is just a fact of life. You don't walk around hugging homeless black people, do you? No, you don't. So why should you then be made to feel guilty about 1% of the black population all of a sudden when it comes to voting? You should not. And you should not be drawn into this stupid debate about these very same people that you could care less if they live or die. Don't let your emotions lead you down a path that has nothing to do with the very people that they're talking about. Nothing to do. I'm saying it has nothing to do with the black homeless people. It has everything to do with illegal aliens, mostly Mexicans. And that's a fact. 90% of illegal aliens are Mexicans. This, not Asian, like they're trying to say, oh, it's a lot of Asians. Asians have to get on literally, physically have to get on a boat. There are millions of Mexicans who come to this country every yearly, every year. And the Democrats want them to vote for them. Illegal or not. Let's call a spade a spade. Anyway, tell me what you think and leave a comment below. I like comments. I like to have an open discussion. And you can call me racist all you want to. These are facts. I am probably the most scientific person you could ever come across. These are facts. It is a fact that millions of Mexicans hop the border illegally against U.S. law. Yes. We're a nation of laws, so we need to adhere to those laws. That's a fact. It has nothing, and Mexico is not a race, last time I checked. Alright, thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show.